Hello, I am the talker of the things I am the watcher of, and welcome to the Cosmic Classroom. Today we'll be talking about one of Marvel's most disappointing series of all time, and asking the question, what if had been good? What If began the day after my 21st birthday. Lucky me, because I was really excited for the show. So I really needed a drink. What If is normally what I would call a layup series for Marvel. The What If comic line it originated from is literally just the Twilight Zone, but Marvel. Not all of the original comic ideas were great. They range from what if dead person lived, what if team never formed, what if team never broke up, what if good person bad, what if bad person good. A little repetitive, but I do prefer it over the show's ideas being, what if it was boring? What if it was lame and boring? What If is officially finished due to the main storyline wrapping up, which are two sentences that should never ever be anywhere near What If. A show like What If should not end until Marvel Studios itself does. Take a hiatus, change animation style, hell, make some of them live action if you want, who cares? What If should be an idea, not just one mediocre show. And in that spirit, the very idea that What If would have a main storyline, let alone allow that storyline to end, is an absolute absurdity. It's stupid bogusness, to put it more smartly. We are going to go through each season of What If, where I think they went right, where I think they went wrong. But first, what if you subscribed? Episode 1 of Season 1, What If Captain Carter were the first Avenger? While Captain Carter may have grown to represent everything wrong with this show, this is actually a cool place to start. You know, like theoretically. This isn't a what if bad person good, obviously, but it still has a pretty easy, understandable through line of what if good person more important. But this episode did begin to reveal just how much of a letdown What If was gonna be. Where this episode could have gone in new and interesting directions, it decided to just be the first Captain America movie again. I think a good way to show what could have been done with What If would have been to still go with the general plot of the first Avenger, but in the spirit of changing the main hero, change the villain. Arnim Zola should be the main antagonist with comic-accurate Teletubby build. The second episode, What If T'Challa Became a Star-Lord, is definitely a step up, but only further reveals how deep the issues with this version of the series run. What If episodes should be sold on a single line, something very easy to understand. What if Captain America were elected president? What if Susan Richards died in childbirth? Jesus Christ. Getting a last voice performance from Chadwick Boseman is a genuine treat, but an episode with such a specific, kinda weird concept like this shouldn't have been in the first season. And I do like this one, but is this really the type of thing you want to do for the second episode of the series? It just feels so desperate, like the writer's room was just, oh god, what if Happy Hogan was Uncle Ben? Here's an idea, it's pretty simple, but maybe this show should have been more simple. What if Black Panther and Killmonger switched places? Those are the types of ideas I think people wanted more of from the show, especially since the Killmonger and Tony Stark episode was one of the most popular this season. Also, the dialogue is really bad. It is either a movie reference or someone just smirking and going, huh, well actually, I'm the strongest guy. I think people can be a little dramatic about MCU humor or MCU dialogue, but sometimes this series feels like it was written by someone who legitimately hates the MCU and wants to make a mockery of it.
I've got the shield, you've got the sword.
More like knives, but cute wordplay.
Season 1 leaves off with a two-part episode that really said, hey Shane, Casual Classroom, love the channel, but this show is not for you. The first episode of the finale, What If Ultron won, is exactly what this show should have been. kinda exactly. First off, you could have made a whole season all about if the best villains had won their respective movies. While I do strongly hate the 1000 sci-fi references this episode conjures, Ultron absolutely steals the show. And steals Vision, and the Infinity Stones, and he gets a cape. Oh my god, he's so cool. Uatu narrating the moment Ultron sees him and realizes that he's kinda fucked is one of my favorites from the season. Jeffrey Wright does a great job as the Watcher. Ross Marquand also does a fantastic job emulating James Spader's take on the character. The thing that sucks about these episodes is just the lame good guys. This episode really typifies one of the biggest issues with What If. Assembling the Guardians of the Multiverse really reveals that the only question they feel like answering with this show is what if it was just the MCU again? But, you know, not as good. Also, I do like seeing Arnim Zola again, still wish they'd put him in a more prominent role in the Peggy episode, but I just feel like the plan of let's possess the robot deity we're fighting with the brain of a Nazi was a little risky, to say the least. What if you liked the video? Season 2 actually starts off pretty solid with a Blade Runner-inspired cop mystery starring Nebula. One of the first things that actually made me want to watch what I was watching was how this episode looked. The first season doesn't feel as much like an animated show as it does a live-action show that just so happens to be animated. We're getting into the intangibles here, but it just doesn't have that sauce that great animation has. This episode, though?
Saucy?
Yeah, kind of saucy.
This is the first episode, even more than Evil Doctor Strange or Eviler Ultron, that really made me feel like What If tapped into what it could have been. This show clearly isn't going to give us more compelling twists on the events we've already seen, so getting to see new sides of the universe is good too. We visited Xandar in its Beverly Hills Chihuahua aesthetic, all glitz and glam, but now we're seeing it through more of a bright lens, ugly and shitty. While being attacked by Ronan the Accuser, Nova Prime put the planet under a lockdown, meaning for 5 years, no one can get in or out. Plunging Xandar into darkness gives us a great, fast-paced, visually interesting, and much less referencey episode of What If. Howard the Duck and weirdly Korg are two characters that What If uses a little too much, but they are actually pretty funny in this episode.
Waitress, could you bring us some small bites for the reflective woman over here, or do you just eat megabytes?
What if the next episode was also good? The second episode of Season 2, What If Peter Quill Attacked Earth's Mightiest Heroes, wow, really rolls off the tongue, guys, is another solid one. This is another staple of the MCU What If brand, what if the old people got to do things, but I liked it. I wish we had stuck closer to the evil Peter Quill concept, but there was still a lot to like here. Ant-Man and Goliath have a very funny back and forth, King T'Chaka is that guy, and seeing pre-Winter Soldier is awesome. He feels genuinely scary, until Howard Stark, gets through to him, I guess? I don't know, it's lame. I really wanted to shoot that kid in the head. What if it was bad again? The rest of the season is a bumpy road, even bumpier than those stupid children playing neighborhoods. Seasons 2 and 3 released over the holiday season in their respective years, so obviously there had to be at least one Christmas episode. I just wish it had been as obvious that that episode should be good. I do enjoy seeing Justin Hammer again, but honestly, he's not that funny in this one. It focuses on Happy Hogan and Darcy from the Thorses. I do like the jokes about Darcy being perma-unemployed, but honestly, this episode is just another what if it were disappointing. I mean, come on guys, Santa is a mutant, and he doesn't even show up. The rest of the season has 5 episodes, which range from okay to shitty, and one episode that is really good, I think. What If Kahori Reshaped the World was probably my favorite episode from the season, but it's a little hard to judge how actually good it is. If I had been starving for many days and then had been given a Long John Silver fish fillet, I may be tricked into thinking that it's food fit for human consumption. Kahori is a Mohawk woman with cosmic powers, which she uses to fight against conquistadors who raise her village and attempt to kidnap her people. As What If's first original character with her own solo debut episode, Kahori had a lot on her shoulders, but this is one of the best episodes, in the series. Which isn't a huge achievement, but Kahori is a cool, likable character who is firmly committed to protecting her people, no matter if she's in her own burning village or a literal paradise. The episode is entirely in Mohawk and subtitled in English. The world building is really interesting, the plot is compelling, and no movie references can be made due to it being the 1500s. However, I do have to bring up that what if there was a new character isn't really a what if idea. That's just kinda what every movie and every show is. Kahori in this episode is a compelling, likable hero. She fights and struggles for the sake of uniting her people again. And in every other episode she's in, she is a boring, flawless action figure. Kinda like
Captain Carter.
This season also features an episode of Wacky Races starring Robert Downey Jr. and Jeff Goldblum impressionists, and an episode where Hela goes through her own Thor 1, and gets a severe glow down. But Zhu Wenwu is there, and he's pretty cool. But the rest of Season 2 is just Captain Carter episodes. We still have to cover Season 3, obviously, but I'm letting the Flurkin out of the bag now. Captain Carter is like the totemic issue with this series. She's in 7 episodes, and not in small roles either, and while that may not sound like a lot, that makes up over a quarter of the series. The season finale team-up episodes are one thing. This main storyline was never gonna be good, at least not to me, but what irritates me are the other episodes. Captain Carter shows up in episodes that frankly would have just been better as their own thing, like the 1602 episode, and makes up her own episodes that are also not very good, like Peggy saving a brainwashed Steve Rogers. Man, Hydra really needs a new brainwashing guy. Season 2 ends with an episode about Captain Carter fighting evil Doctor Strange, another recurring what-if character who I do like more than Captain Carter, but literally the only recurring character in What If should be the Watcher. What if it were nearly over? Season 3 might be the best season of What If. It's definitely the shortest, so that helps. This season, though, does have the most number of episodes that I feel like are actual what-if ideas. They're still kinda stupid, but that's okay. What if the Hulk fought the Mech Avengers is a bit of a misnomer, but becomes a really fun kaiju and Sentai-themed episode. The Agatha Hollywood episode has some pretty funny moments, but suffers from me having not watched a certain MCU film. The Howard the Duck and Darcy episode is actually surprisingly good, especially since it's a sequel to the Party Thor episode, but also creates a character with no flaws and powers I do not understand, because we didn't have enough of those. There's also a pretty alright Western episode starring Shang-Chi and Kate Bishop Hawkeye, but honestly at this point I was just happy that it wasn't about universes and laser beams. One of the most confusing episodes to me, however, is What If the Emergence Destroyed the World? The Emergence being the world-ending threat from the Eternals. Apparently. In this episode, the planet has been split into disparate pieces after the Emergence, with only small bands of survivors left. Quentin Beck, Mysterio, has also taken control over the world, using the Iron Legion, his illusions, and the White Vision to control the world with a hologram fist. But what I don't understand is why these two plots are in the same episode, because these ideas don't have anything to do with each other. I don't care about the emergence idea, but the Mysterio and Riri Williams side of this episode is really cool. Especially the end where it reveals how many levels of illusions Riri is under. And then the Watcher ruins it. God, I wish that this guy would just disappear, you know? Okay, things are looking up. I don't even really know what to say about these last couple episodes. There's so much sci-fi, magic, proper noun mumbo-jumbo, and no character stuff that I care about. It completely washes over me. There's like big swords in the 5th dimension, and an oath that if you say it, it automatically grants you powers, even if you don't mean it, which seems like an oversight. This 2-part series finale really emphasized and highlighted everything I don't like about What If. They even ruined the cool Ultron. I don't even know what to do anymore. What if we ranked things? I have an appointment soon, so this is going to be pretty simple. If you saw my JJK Shibuya video from way back when, it's going to be kind of like that. I might elaborate on some of these, but most of these will just be last place, the finale of Season 2. What if Strange Supreme intervened? Wow, that is a bad sign. Number 25 is the series finale, What If, so bad, but at least it was over. 24 is What If Thor was an only child, annoying, and he does come back for some reason. 23, What If Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper? Hello again, Captain. 22 is Avengers 1602. Oh, hello again, Captain. 21 is What If the Watcher disappeared? I don't think I've seen a show fumble as many finales as What If. It is really impressive. Number 20 is What If Zombies? I hardly talked about this episode, even though it was probably the most anticipated from the first season, but it's just not very good or interesting. Deceased better. 19 is What If the Watcher broke his oath? This is the first time where the show decided to have a really bad finale. It's hard to keep track, I know. Number 18 is What If Howard the Duck got hitched? I like seeing Ebony Maw. 17 is What If Captain Carter were the first Avenger? A bad omen, but a fine episode of TV. Number 16 is What If 1872, the Western episode? A completely average, pretty boring episode of What If. What if you wanted to rank things, but it got really slow and boring in the middle? 15 is What If Agatha went to Hollywood? Or, I don't know, this one might be worse or better, I don't care. 14, What If Happy Hogan saved Christmas? 13, What If Iron Man crashed into the Grandmaster? And 12, What If Hela found the 10 rings? Number 11 is What If the Earth lost its mightiest heroes? Another great title, but where's Benoit Blanc? Breaking into the top 10, we have an episode that's almost good. What If the Emergence destroyed the Earth? 9 is What If the Hulk fought the Mech Avengers? 8 is What If Killmonger had saved Tony Stark? Hey, more mechs. And 7 is What If Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? Oh my god, these titles are so bad, but this episode actually does some interesting animation stuff with the dark magic. 6 is What If T'Challa had become a Star-Lord? It's funny and came out before the show activated my rage meter. 5 is the first of these episodes that I think I just like. What if the Red Guardian had stopped the Winter Soldier? Red Guardian is hilarious, plus him and Bucky do have really good chemistry in this episode, but oh my god, Hydra needs a new brainwashing guy. This guy sucks. 4 is What If Peter Quill came to Earth and killed a bunch of people? See, they'd have me in the booth for these. I just wish that they had stuck with their guns, but it's a good episode. 3 is What If Kahari reshaped the world? A good episode of TV, a good superhero story, but not really a good episode of What If. And our runner-up, What If Nebula had joined the Nova Corps? Has the best world building across the series, but it is not as good as the penultimate finale of Season 1, What If Ultron won? This episode really shows how the rest of the series could have felt if they actually made it a what if show. But the final indignity of this show, showing us so much more interesting universes right at the end, is almost cruel. It feels like if someone gave you a bucket of shit or like Long John Silver's to eat, and then once you were done, made you watch them throw away a Freddy's Plain #2 with a side of cheese curds and an unsweetened iced tea. The perfect meal. Wow, that was boring and kinda sucked, honestly, for a lot of it, but what if the video were over? Because that is the video for this week, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me. I've got more positive stuff coming up, don't worry. But I'll catch you next time. See ya. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching that video as always. If you made it to this point, a double thank you. Thank you very much. I'm doing the filming last. I don't like doing the filming last because it's a big like hurdle and I should start getting it out of the way sooner, but I always procrastinate it. But what I have to show for my collection this week is very exciting. This is Ultimate Spider-Man #1. What's this one called again? Married with Children, and that describes how Peter Parker is married. And, get this, has children. It is really good so far. I really want to try and collect all the physical Ultimate comics, like this new version of the Ultimate comics, when they hit my local bookstore, because, like, I've never had one of these, like, comic reboots while I've been into, like, physically collecting them. So, like, it's really cool. I really want to, like, build up more of those. And this is really solid so far. The story is great, especially the first and last issues are, like, knockouts. They are incredible. The middle, like, is good too. But the first and last issues are amazing. The only, like, if I had to pick one thing about this book that I, like, definitively, if I had to pick one thing about this book that I definitively, like, did not like, it would be that the, artist changes in the middle, but the main one comes back. I'll catch y'all next time. See ya.